Hello everybody, thanks for joining me again. Today we're going to take a look at how I approach square bases. So typically people will have a square, so you'll have something like this. Which is all well and good, but something I quite like is to have a blend of saw and square, so that we get the nice saw transient with the squarish body. Personally, I prefer this mixture of the two waveforms. So there's a couple of ways of going about this. So just going to get a bass patch that I know is good enough. I'm sure that will be absolutely fine. So one way of going about this would be to use one oscillator, duplicate it, and on the duplicate, we go into singles, squarify. Okay, so we now have saw and a square, and we go into morph, crossfade. So now, on our wavetable position, we've got a morph from saw through to square. So I'm just going to take an LFO, put it on the wavetable position, and I want to create a ramp up, and the rate is set to around about 1/16th on envelope mode, and we should now have this sort of blend between the two. And we can tweak this LFO to decide how squarey it's going to be. Okay, so yeah, that's something you can have play around with. It can be particularly cool for like longer basses, eighth notes and stuff. Okay, so that's one way around it. Alternatively, what you can do is if we get rid of that, so we have our saw and we copy it into the other oscillator, so it's oscillator A to B, and then what I'm going to do is, in this patch, for some reason I've used velocity on both of these. I'm just going to get rid of those, set them both to 50%, and pop into the matrix. Create velocity amp assignment. Just check the volume is sensible. Okay, yeah, that'll be fine. So now that we've got our pure saw, we're going to, on one of these, we're going to go in and we're going to go singles, squarify alt, and on the other one, singles, squarify. So now we have two oscillators sharing half of the harmonics each. Should sound exactly the same. Okay, cool. So yeah, we've got our two oscillators with the odds and evens. So now what we can do is get a LFO, and we can go to the even harmonics and have it so that goes down over time. And this gives a bit of a squarey feeling already because we're removing the evens. So then we can go over to the odds, the square part of the waveform, and we can add in a bit more to compensate for the volume lost here. Personally, I prefer this technique with the two separate oscillators compared to the single oscillator version, just because we get a bit more control here. But yeah, that's pretty much it, really. Hopefully you find that useful. If you did, please like and subscribe. And happy square bass lines to you all. And otherwise, thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time.